Dolomite is magnesium carbonate with calcium carbonate. Nitrogen molecule has got triple bond. Fluorine is highly electronegative in nature. We are getting ether here, correct? And this reaction is called as Williamson's ether synthesis. See, decomposition reactions require heat, or it's an endothermic reaction. Hello my dear students, here I am to solve Karnataka CET 2006 chemistry question paper. First question, which of the following is not an ore of magnesium? Option A, carnallite. Option B, dolomite. Option C, calamine. Option D, sea water. So they are asking which is not an ore of magnesium. Yavadu magnesium ore alla anta kelta idare. It is calamine because it is ZnCO3. So option C is the correct answer. Sea water contains lot of magnesium ions, so it can be used as the ore. Dolomite is magnesium carbonate with calcium carbonate, and carnallite is potassium chloride with magnesium chloride and 6 molecules of water. Correct? That's the reason calamine is the correct answer. So shall we go to the next question? The atomic number of nickel and copper are 28 and 29 respectively. The electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d10 represents Cu plus ion, Cu plus 2 ion, Ni plus 2 ion, Ni, that is nickel ion. See, for nickel it is 28. So when the atomic number is 28, we have argon up to 18, and then 4s2 it becomes 20, 3d8. But here you have completely filled orbital. So it is for atomic number 29, that is copper in +1 state, where it is argon. As it is in +1 state, it has lost electrons. So there are only 28 electrons again. But the electronic configuration is 3d10, 4s0. Thus, it is for Cu plus ion. That is option A is the correct answer. We'll go to the third question. In the following, the element with the highest ionization energy is neon with 3s2 3p1, neon 3s2 3p3, neon 3s2 3p2, neon 3s2 3p4. They are asking which has got the highest ionization energy. If there is an half filled orbital or completely filled orbital, the ionization energy can be really very high. So if you see option B, 3s2 3p3, where the p orbital is half filled, thus it has got high ionization enthalpy. So option B is the correct answer. Okay. Next question. In the conversion of Br2 to BrO3 minus, the oxidation number of bromine changes from 0 to +5, +1 to +5, 0 to -3, +2 to +5. See, bromine is in the molecular state. Okay, so this is 0. And you have only two options which is starting from 0, 0 to +5 and 0 to -3. So you have to see 0 to what state bromine is changing. So X plus, for oxide it is -2, -2 into 3 is -6 is equal to -1, X is equal to +5. So it is changing from 0 to +5. So A is the correct answer. Okay. We'll go to the next question. Among the alkali metals, cesium is the most reactive because option A, its incomplete shell is nearest to the nucleus. Option B, it has a single electron in the valence shell. Option C, it is the heaviest alkali metal. Option D, the outermost electron is more loosely than the outermost electron of the other alkali metals. So here, among the alkali metals, cesium is more reactive. See, as we come down the group, the atomic size increases. The last electron has got very less effective nuclear charge because of the size of the atom. It is loosely bound and thus it is more reactive. So, option D is the correct answer. Okay. We'll go to the next question. Which of the following represents the Lewis structure of N2 molecule? Nitrogen molecule has got triple bond. Just remember this, and also the electronic configuration is nitrogen 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. So total 5 valence electrons it has got. Keeping this in mind, we have to see which is the correct Lewis dot structure. The first one has got triple bond. So 3 plus 2, 5, 3 plus 2, 5. Correct. This is the one which is correct. We'll see here 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 valence electrons. This is wrong. Here single bond is there. Here also single bond they have shown. So it's not possible. Option A is the right answer. Okay. Next question. Hydrogen bond is strongest in between hydrogen and oxygen, between hydrogen and sulfur, between hydrogen and fluorine, between hydrogen and nitrogen. It is between hydrogen and fluorine atom. The hydrogen bond is very strong because fluorine is highly electronegative in nature. That's the reason where hydrogen bond is strongest between hydrogen and fluorine atom. That is option C is the correct answer. Okay. Next question. The decomposition of certain mass of calcium carbonate gave 11.2 dm cube of carbon dioxide gas. At STP, the mass of KOH required to completely neutralize the gas is 56 grams, 28 grams, 42 grams, 20 grams. So we need to find out the mass of KOH required to completely neutralize 11.2 dm cube of carbon dioxide. So how are we going to solve this? KOH reacts with carbon dioxide to form potassium bicarbonate, that is KOH plus CO2 will give KHCO3. Okay. From the equation, for 56 grams, I require 44 grams of carbon dioxide. That is just the molecular mass. Okay, 1 mole of KOH requires 1 mole of carbon dioxide. Correct? But what is the mass of carbon dioxide I've got? See, 44 grams, that's the molecular mass of carbon dioxide, occupies 22.4 dm cube. So, 11.2 dm cube carbon dioxide is there. What is the mass? It is exactly half, that is 22 grams. Correct? So, I have 22 grams of carbon dioxide. So, what is the mass of KOH required? So, this is 56 into 22 divided by 44, that is 28 grams. So, option B is the right answer. Next question. The density of the gas is 1.964 grams per dm cube at 273 Kelvin and 76 centimeters of mercury. The gas is methane, ethane, carbon dioxide or xenon. So, we have to find out the molecular mass. If you get the molecular mass, obviously you can make out which is the gas which is present, which has got the density 1.964 at 273 Kelvin and 76 centimeter of mercury. How do I calculate the molecular mass of the gas when I know the density, temperature and pressure? We know the formula PV is equal to nRT, which I can write it as PV is equal to number of moles is mass by molecular mass into RT. Molecular mass, I'll take it on the other end. So, mass into RT by V into P. Mass by volume is density. So, this becomes density RT by P. I know the density, it's 1.964 I'll keep it in grams itself and liters itself. R value in liters when I require, it is 0.0821 into temperature is 273 divided by pressure 76 centimeter mercury is nothing but 1 atmosphere. Okay, so this will be equal to 44, which is equal to carbon dioxide mass. So the gas is carbon dioxide gas. Okay, so we'll move on to the next question. 0.06 moles of KNO3 solid is added to 100 cm cube of water at 298 Kelvin. The enthalpy of KNO3 aqueous solution is 35.8 kilojoule per mole. After the solute is dissolved, the temperature of the solution will be. So we have 0.06 molar KNO3 solution, solid. It is added to 100 cm cube of water and the enthalpy of KNO3 solution they have given. So we have to find out when the solute is dissolved, what is the change in temperature which is happening. So what is the formula which we need to use? For this, we have to use the formula Q is equal to M C delta T, mass, specific heat into change in temperature into Q value. So here delta T I need to calculate. So Q by MC. Q value is 35.8 kilojoule per mole, but I have only 0.06 mole, so 0.06 I can do here. Okay, mole. Now what is the mass what I have total? So M is equal to mass of KNO3 plus mass of water. Water is 100 cm cube, that means the mass of water is 100 grams. And mass of potassium nitrate, how do I calculate? I know that number of moles is mass by molecular mass. I want mass, so number of moles 0.06 into molecular mass of potassium nitrate, that is 101.32, okay, which is equal to 6.072. So the mass of potassium nitrate is 6.072. So this value will be 106.072. Okay. Now I got the mass also. I'll substitute here 0.072 into the value of C is, it is 4.184 joules. So this if I calculate, I'll get the value as 4.84. Thus, what we will do, delta T is equal to T2 minus T1. So, I want to calculate the value of T1. So, which is equal to 298 minus 4.84, which is nothing but approximately equal to 293. Correct? 293 point something I'll get. So, the answer is 293 Kelvin. That is option A. Okay. 11th question. 4 moles of SO2 and O2 gases are allowed to react to form SO3 in a closed vessel. At equilibrium, 25% of O2 is used up. The total number of moles of all the gases present at equilibrium is option A 6.5, B 7, C 8, D is 2. So first I shall write the equation SO2 plus O2 is giving SO3. So to balance the equation, I'll have to put 2 over here. Okay. Initially it is told this is 4 and this is 4, this is 0. 4 moles of sulfur dioxide and oxygen. At equilibrium, 25% of oxygen is used. So, 4 minus 4 into 0.25 is used up. Okay. Now, if this is 0.25, this is twice, so this will be 0.5. So, 4 minus 4 into 0.5 is used up. And here what is formed? That is 4 into 0.5 is formed. Why 0.5? Because this also is double, because the balancing is 2 there. Okay. So, here 4 minus 4 into 0.5 is 2. So, 2 moles is remaining at equilibrium. Here 4 into 0.25 is 1. So, 4 minus 1, 3 moles is remaining at equilibrium. And 4 into 0.5 is 2. So, 2 moles is formed. So, add up all of this. 2 plus 3 plus 2, it is 7. So, option B is the correct answer. I hope you have understood this. We'll go to the next question. An example of autocatalysis is oxidation of NO to NO2, oxidation of SO2 to SO3, decomposition of KClO3 to KCl and O2, oxidation of oxalic acid by acidified KMnO4. Here, autocatalysis means the product formed should act as a catalyst. So, here decomposition, there is no autocatalysis, it's heat what is required. Oxidation of these two also does not require a catalyst here. So, it is answer is oxidation of oxalic acid by acidified KMnO4. We are doing this titration in the lab, in which you will start the reaction, or slowly you will add potassium permanganate into hot oxalic acid. If you add once in for all, lot of KMnO4, then the reaction will not happen at all. That is because initially manganese sulfate is formed in the product, which is acting as a catalyst, and after that if you add potassium permanganate continuously into your conical flask, the reaction will happen, because manganese sulfate is already formed, which is acting as the autocatalyst there. Okay, so the speed will increase. Initially only if you add directly KMnO4, lot of KMnO4, the reaction will not happen as we wanted, because manganese sulfate is the autocatalyst which is formed here. So, option D is the right answer. Okay. Next question. During the fusion of organic compound with sodium metal, nitrogen of the compound is converted to NaNO2, NaNH2, NaCN, NaNC. So, here in sodium fusion extract, sodium, carbon from the organic compound and nitrogen will form NaCN, and option C is the right answer. Okay. Next one, identify the product Y in the following reaction sequence. In this reaction, first this particular compound is heated, then it is heated with zinc amalgam with concentrated HCl, that is Clemenson's reduction. Okay. So, what is formed is what they are asking. Before I go into look into all of this, I can directly write it off. That is, first when it is heated, we will get CH2, CH2, CH2 and CH2 will remain as it is. Here CaCO3 will be removed. Calcium carbonate will be lost and you will get C double bond O. Okay. Now, you have a carbonyl group. When it is heated with zinc amalgam with concentrated HCl, it will get converted to CH2 group. So, you have only CH2 groups here. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cyclopentane is formed. Okay. So, I hope you have understood this particular question. We'll go to the next question. The reaction C2H5ONa with C2H5I will give C2H5O C2H5 plus NaI. This is known as Kolbe synthesis, Wood synthesis, Williamson synthesis or Grignard synthesis. We are getting ether here, correct? And this reaction is called as Williamson's ether synthesis. So, option C is the correct answer, isn't it? Next one. Delta G naught versus T plot in the Ellingham diagram slopes downwards for the reaction. See, in the entire Ellingham diagram, we have only one line which is sloping downwards. So, I hope you remember what is it. First one, magnesium with oxygen, magnesium oxide, no. Silver with oxygen, silver oxide? No. Carbon plus oxygen giving carbon monoxide. This is the line which is coming sloping downwards. Carbon monoxide plus oxygen giving carbon dioxide is also not sloping downwards. It's only option C which is right. Okay. We'll go to the next question. Which of the following reaction takes place in the blast furnace is endothermic? Option A, decomposition of calcium carbonate, formation of carbon monoxide, formation of carbon dioxide, and also where Fe2O3 with carbon monoxide is forming iron with carbon dioxide. See, decomposition reactions require heat or it's an endothermic reaction, and we have only one decomposition reaction in blast furnace, that is calcium carbonate decomposing to give calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. So option A is the right answer. Okay. Next one, liquid ammonia bottle are opened only after cooling. This is because it's a mild explosive, it is a corrosive liquid, it's a lacrimatory, or it generates high vapor pressure. If we open ammonia bottle when the temperature is high or after shaking the bottle, there will be just gush of fume or vapors which is coming out, and it will start burning your eyes, and it can lead to a lot of dangerous hazards. Okay, so it is because it generates high vapor pressure. So option D is right. If you cool and if you then open, the vapor pressure will not be very high. That's the reason we always cool the ammonia bottles and then we have to open. Okay. Next one, the formation of O2 plus PtF6 minus is the basis for the formation of xenon fluorides. This is because oxygen and xenon have comparable size. Both oxygen and xenon are gases. Oxygen and xenon have comparable ionization energies, or oxygen and xenon have comparable electronegativities. So Neil Bartlett first thought that xenon and like oxygen, even xenon can react to form this complex because oxygen and xenon had comparable ionization energy. That's the reason xenon could be, or he used xenon to try that whether it will react or not. Okay, so answer is option C. Last question for this part. The highest magnetic moment is shown by transition metal ion with the configuration 3d2, 3d5, 3d7, 3d9. See, the formula is mu is equal to square root of n into n plus 2, where n is equal to number of unpaired electrons. Correct? So, if the number of unpaired electrons is more, the dipole moment is more. So, obviously, 3d5, it has got all 5 orbitals which is unpaired, isn't it? That's why 3d5 is the correct answer. So, I hope you have understood all the 20 questions of Part A Karnataka CET 2006 question paper. Next part, we'll have another 20 questions. Stay tuned, my dear children. Thank you.